Hit it.
Yep, here he comes. Riding his trusted steed through the Sierra foothills as he brings you the news.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
He calls himself
Charlie!
What you doing, Charlie?
Sorry, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. There you are. Look how cute you are. Yeah!
Hey, Charlie. What's with the dark glasses?
And now, here he is, a man of God, living in a world of Disney.
Ow! Charlie!
Charlie Simons.
Charlie bit me.
Hello, my friend. Yes, indeed. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me, talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about, religion and politics. That's what Do Not Talk is all about. But there's so much more to it than that, especially when emergency situations crop up, like what we've had with Hurricane Helene, Helene, and hit Florida, Tennessee. I don't know how Alabama and Georgia missed all that, but I didn't hear a lot about them, but I sure did hear about North Carolina, especially an area that's like 300 miles inland that had all this excessive flooding. There's all kinds of talk about why, how, what's the reason. Could it be because they want to buy the land for pennies on the dollar because of lithium that is so prevalent there for electric vehicles? Like this report here. Well, whatever the reason, all I know is, for example, in my state of California, there's been some catastrophic fires. And regardless of how it started it or who started it or why all of a sudden nobody's allowed to move back in there, like Paradise, Grizzly Flat, and look what happened at Maui too with Hawaii. That was definitely surprising to many, many people. So here's the situation. In North Carolina, we got people who are stranded, who are hurting, who don't have food, supplies, many of them not even a way to get out, to escape, where they're surrounded by water, they're stranded. And there is FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management, blah, blah, blah agency, saying, oh, we're broke. Yeah, we don't have the money to help anybody there. So sorry. Where'd it go? Well, remember all that reporting that I've been doing on the southern border? FEMA's been so much of that, giving them what they need, our tax dollars, going to support FEMA, going to support people coming in here illegally. They say they don't have enough money to help these folks in North Carolina. It is unconscionable. It is pathetic, inexcusable, and it can't stay that way. Something's got to change. But one thing I've noticed about people in the South especially, their attitude is, you're not going to help us? Guess what? We're going to take care of it ourselves. We saw it in Tennessee when Obama was president. Bathhouse Barry Obama really did nothing for Tennessee. When Nashville, the Ryman Auditorium was flooded. They cut out the center portion of the stage to rescue it, and it's now at the Grand Ole Opry, at the Opry House. And right there in the middle is that stage, the original stage from when the Grand Ole Opry was always at the Ryman Auditorium. Nobody helped them. Nobody from the federal government helped them. Then we had New Orleans with Hurricane Katrina. Remember that? And all the people were saying George W. Bush, like Kanye West, hates black people because he wasn't going in there fast enough with FEMA assistance of water and all this kind of stuff. Well, what they didn't report on the news was he did. We did. But those trucks, those trucks full of food and water and the relief efforts were stopped by the state government officials and the mayor of the city of New Orleans. Everyone seems to have forgotten that. The governor of Louisiana said no. And the mayor of New Orleans said no. We don't want the federal trucks coming in here and helping. Why? So they could turn around and say George W. Bush hates black people. That's really all that was. They're playing with people's lives. In an emergency situation, they make everything political. So why now? Are they ignoring southern states, which, for the most part, is a very red area? $750, I think, is what. Same with Maui. Maui folks each family got like $750. Not each person, each family got $750 assistance when they lost everything. Well, people in North Carolina have lost everything. But I became aware of one of the people who were boots on the ground, or I should say wings in the air, taking care of their community, taking care of their neighbors, their fellow North Carolinians. Government's not there fast enough or not there at all. We're going to take care of it. And his name is Carl Lambert. Carl, I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for being there, and welcome to Do Not Talk, my friend. You got to be kind of tired. I understand you've been a little busy.
Yeah, we've been doing flights out of our little grass strip, taking medicine and any kind of supply that the community needs.
How do you find out what they need?
When we land at an airport, they have a list, and we take pictures of the list. We come back and we load the planes.
Now, this is a flight club in your area there in North Carolina, right? They were not adversely or so hard hit by the hurricane, I understand. You all are okay, right?
Yeah, our airport, it sustained a little flooding. We had to let the runway dry out for a couple of days before we could, take action.
And we're talking private planes, we're talking private jets and helicopters. And
Yeah.
I've seen reports where local officials, law enforcement, have been turning pilots away who have shown up to try and rescue people who are stranded on their roofs. And they were told, no, you can't go in there, and no, you can't take anybody out, or we'll have you arrested. Did you see any of that or encounter any of that?
We did not. Everywhere we went, people were receptive. We've just been, moving supplies.
What kind of operation is it? How did it get started? Was this, you spearheaded this, right, Carl?
Well, I'm the president of Lenore Aviation Club. The two real spearheads of the club that started this is John Carlton and Ben Prophet. I actually live an hour north of this airport, and so I was in the area where it got hit hard. They called me, asked me if they could start this operation, and I said, by all means, we need to support the community.
Was all of this flooding from rain? I mean, why did some areas get hit so hard and others didn't? I mean, this area you're concentrated on, the hardest hit in North Carolina is Ashe County or Asheville, right?
Ashe County. We are about 2 hours from Asheville.
Okay. And why did it get hit so hard? Where did all this water come from?
It was just a 24-hour downpour of rain that just hit so hard. It just don't have nowhere to go. It just comes off the mountains and hits these rivers and shoots down the river. I mean, it's in an hour and a half. One river rose. It rose up to the fire department entrance, and in an hour and a half, it was 8 feet deep.
No kidding.
Yep, and it continued to rise from there to 12 feet. Place called Lansing, North Carolina.
A lot of people were ready for the hurricane. They're expecting the rain. They're expecting the wind, but not the flooding like that, not that excessive rainfall. So how much time did they get before they even got an evacuation notice? Do you know?
I don't know the exact time. I know that people, once they realized, they started moving to higher ground, but they just had to leave everything behind.
I heard about 911 calls that were made, and when you could finally get through, they were saying, we're just too inundated. If you have an attic, get up in it. That's what they were telling people. Get up in your attic. So you can't even oftentimes, and they don't have, unless they cut a hole in the roof, they don't have any access to even get on top of that.
Yeah. I mean, many houses.
I can't even imagine how many how many families or just even individuals, what do the seniors do? What do people who are physically not able to do that? What are some of the stories and things that you've seen doing these rescue operations?
I have coworkers that had to walk out 11 miles to get to simply to get to a road to get a ride to town to get supplies for his family and go back.
Yeah, because unless you have a helicopter, you're not landing anywhere. Well, even a helicopter can't land on water. So,
No.
so then you throw that into the mix, and it's mountainous, right?
Yes, very, very steep terrain around here. My house is at 3,250 feet, and many houses are much higher than that.
Dude, how many pilots are there assisting? Are they still doing it? What's going on? How do you organize all of this? Are people just bringing supplies once they found out what you're doing? Are they bringing supplies to the airport and then you just like load as much as you can? Because private planes, you can't carry that much weight, can you?
Right. We had people inquire once they found out we was doing it. They're just bringing stuff to the airport. Many of the local residents in Lenore, they don't even realize there's an airport locally there. We've had pilots come from as far as Missouri, North Georgia, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Calhoun, Georgia. They just fly there. They bring a pack and a sleeping bag, and we let them sleep in our clubhouse. And we just, we do about 30 to 40 flights a day out of there.
Do you have a tower? I mean, is it a big enough
No.
airport? You have a tower. You don't have like a traffic controller, do you?
No, we do have a maintenance facility guy. He mans the radio, and we talk to people, and we try to provide a safe environment. And we brief the pilots. They can download our traffic pattern.
Because that's going on 24 hours a day, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So a private municipal airport, is the runway lit?
No, this is a grass runway. This is a private grass runway. We are a club that has been around since 1954. Our main mission is to provide economical training for pilots that want to get into the industry.
Dude, I can't even imagine. So people are landing and taking off in the dark on a grass runway.
Well, we don't do dark
grass runway at that.
Yeah, we don't do night operations because of the rising terrain around the area. Too dangerous, really, because it's so mountainous around here.
Yeah. Wow. How can we help? Before I ask you anything else, I got all kinds of questions about this, just because logistically, this is amazing that you're doing this. How can we help? What do you need? You need fuel for pilots. These people are volunteering their plane and putting the fuel in their own planes, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're just paying for this out of their pocket. Medicine. We're doing a lot of insulin, a lot of medical kits, a lot of stoves, a lot of lanterns. With winter coming, I think this next week it's supposed to be down to 40 degrees, and it's going to be 6+ weeks before people have power back in these areas.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's cold's coming, and you're in the mountains here.
Yeah. Do you have a Do you have a way to that money can people can give money to help with fuel?
We do. We have Lower Creek Aviation Facebook page, and we have a Zephy.com way to contribute money. And we just got that set up, 6 hours ago. So before that, we're very rural. So before that, it was just check only. We write it to the club, and we, do it that way. But
so where do we
gotta
start with your Facebook page, I guess. Lower Creek Aviation is called?
Yeah, Lower Creek Aviation.
Uh-huh. And what was the other thing you said?
Zeffy.com is
What
a
is it?
nonprofit. Zeffy, ZEFFY.com. It's a nonprofit method of supporting nonprofit organizations.
Never even heard of it. So it's like Give Send Go, but it's just a different one. So
Yeah.
ZEF as in Frank, F as in Frank, Y .com.
Yes, sir.
And then look for what? Lower Creek.
There's instructions on, if you click on our link, there's instructions on how to go through the process.
Because not everybody has Facebook anymore. A lot of people have gotten sick of it and they fired Facebook. And I don't blame them.
That's true. It'll walk you through the steps. It's pretty simple.
Okay. But is that what we search for on Zeffy, though? Is that Lower Creek Aviation?
It's Lower Creek Airport.
Lower Creek Airport. Okay.
Lower Creek Airport.
Because aviation fuel is incredibly expensive.
Yes, sir.
And it's not like these vehicles are exactly efficient when it comes to fuel economy, especially the helicopters, man. So you're flying into terrain that's already flooded. You're literally using a road when you can find it, but you get there, nobody knows you're there. How are they finding you? How are you all connecting up like that?
Well, we set up networks to the local airports up in the mountains, and we're flying into Ashe County, which is GEV. We're flying into Boone, North Carolina. We're flying into Elk River, which is Banner Elk. We're flying into Avery County, which is Spruce Pine, that got hit real hard. So we're flying into the smaller airports.
Yeah, because vehicles couldn't get through.
Right.
I've experienced this before with such massive flooding that literally you become an island, and and when anything with wheels is not getting through.
You're an island in the middle of America.
Yeah, it's scary as heck, actually.
Yeah.
So when you're flying over personally, have you spotted people literally on their roof like they were after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans?
You know, I personally didn't. I personally didn't find anybody like that. You know, our mission's just directly there, directly back to get the next load.
So it's just one after another, after another, after another. Any aftermath of more rain coming in? Because you get hindered by weather, obviously.
Yes, weather impacts this greatly. You know, low clouds in the mountains, fog in the morning. We usually can't start until about 10 o'clock.
Wow. So are they able to get vehicles through now, or are you still having to fly everything in and out?
We're actually, we're still taking supplies, but we're starting to truck things in. It's more efficient. The loads are.
You can carry a lot more.
We carry a lot more, so it maximizes what we can get to the community.
Interesting. So supplies you don't need so much, but money, yes, to pay for the aviation fuel. Even just filling up the tanks of these different pilots when they come in and landing in and out. Right now, they're paying that out of their pocket. And
Yes.
Don't think that just because somebody has an airplane that they're incredibly wealthy. A lot of people, that's always been their dream. Just like somebody who had a dream car, and they worked and scrimped and saved, and it's not a cheap sport, that's for sure.
No.
So if you can help them, I would strongly suggest that. So one more time on Facebook, it's Lower Creek Aviation.
That's correct.
And
Lower Creek Airport.
Airport?
Lower Creek Airport. That's
Airport.
the Facebook page.
Okay. And on Zeffy, which I've never heard of, ZEFFY.com, just look for Lower Creek Airport. This is amazing what you're doing.
Well, it's our neighbor, you know.
Past 3-4 days.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Have you been living at the airport for the past 3 or 4 days?
Well, we try to go there as much as possible. Like I said, I live an hour away, so I travel back and forth.
Thank God you didn't hit that hard where you lived, at least. I don't think.
Right. No, I mean, I had minimal damage. Nothing like but I got probably neighbors 10 miles to the west of me, town called Todd, North Carolina, Creston, Three Top. They took a real hard hit. Place called Helton Creek. The north end of Ashe County, Damascus, Virginia. We got co-workers that come in from Virginia to the plant to work, so they got hit extremely hard.
Are you seeing anybody from? I tell everybody, don't give a dime to the Red Cross. Don't give a dime.
I have not seen any.
However, Samaritan's Purse, I know, is on the scene, and the Salvation Army, which I love, always on the scene. Salvation Army. Other than that, have you seen any FEMA personnel or any of those people are going to come in and save the day?
I hear they're in the bigger airports, like Asheville and some of the bigger ones. I want to say maybe Statesville, but for us, we're so small that it doesn't make sense for them to come around.
Right. I love it. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I thank you so much for it. Anything you want to let us know or anything you want to share with us, your experience with this so far? Maybe
it's
something new that you've learned, or you just hadn't thought of it that way. Now you're looking at things differently.
Well, something I know to be true is that, the government can't save you. We the people got to save ourselves. And it shows in this horrific event.
Yeah. And why did it get hit so hard there? How come other places?
It's the weather, right? It's always changing. I'm a believer, that if they can really control climate change, I like 72 degrees. If you can set it at 72, I'm in,
I'll be happy.
But other than that, I'm skeptic.
The media has been, I got to tell you, all but ignoring it. I'm not seeing
It took them a while.
24-hour footage on CNN or the NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt or any of this.
Right.
It's been ignored. And when things happen in the South, with the exception of New Orleans when George W. was president, which they capitalized fully on. Other than that, when it happens in the South, it's like, screw those people. Who cares? They're probably Republicans anyway. That really seems to be the attitude. Now, am I wrong?
Well, it's just they're so far removed that they just don't know. They don't feel it. But what they don't feel is they don't feel the community coming together either.
Which is awesome.
Which is, very,
I
very
am
good.
glad that I got to live in the South for a while, a couple times in my life, and I just love the people. I think they're fantastic. So
it's a neighbor.
More power to you, brother. More power to you.
Thank you.
And one more time, how much sleep are you getting per night so far over the last few days?
We get about 5 or 6 hours.
5 or 6, I know. Dang, my friend, dang. I'm impressed. Thank you so much for taking the time to go with us on my little old show here. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Okay.
So there you go. Now you know how to help. And if you can help financially, that's what I would recommend. Because they're paying for this out of their pocket. And they might be using their credit cards. They might be maxed out. They don't have the money for this themselves, but they realize the importance of it. And they have a vehicle, a way to get in there when trucks and cars and vans cannot. Certainly not trains. And these people need to eat, and they need fresh water. When you're in a flood, what are you going to drink? The flood water? You have no idea what's in that. It's all filthy, a lot of disease happening real fast. Floods are horrible, horrible. So help them if you can financially. Buy them a tank of gas for their Cessna. Hey, what kind of plane do you have, by the way, Carl Lambert? What are you flying?
I fly a 1949 Navion Model A.
Shut up. That's fantastic. Did you restore it yourself, or did you buy it already restored?
It was in good shape when I bought it, but I put a lot of sweat equity into it and made it a better airplane.
Is it metal wings or is it the fabric painted with that metallic kind of?
It's a polished airplane with
Okay.
Navy markings on it.
Okay. Oh man, it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Keep them flying.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
an Air Force guy, by the way?
Am I what?
Air
Air
Force guy.
Force? No, I didn't serve in the military. I tried to, but was denied.
So what started with your love of flying? Because I love flying. Someday I keep
My dad. My
What's that?
dad. My dad would take me to the airport. You know, when I was a child, take me flying, and I got the bug, and I try to support aviation and get young folks involved. I've had my granddaughter flying for I don't know since she was about 13, and she's going to turn 17. So trying to get her the bug too.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for sharing this show. That's another way you can help too, by letting everybody else see this gentleman and these group of wonderful, wonderful people who are putting their own safety, their own equipment on the line to help out people that are not even in their neighborhood, but still they're rallying together. That's what they do. It's what they do down in the South a lot. I love it. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. Most importantly, America,